Today I want to talk about Zacchaeus and the rich ruler. Okay, so first thing that we notice in both situations is wealth. They were both rich. Okay, and it clearly says, Jesus says in chapter 18 verse 24 that it is much harder for someone who is rich to enter the kingdom of God than for someone who's not rich, for example. Okay, and it clearly tells us from these verses that this rich ruler, even though he kept the commandments, that didn't guarantee his salvation. Okay, because, for example, in this case was wealth. Okay, but there could be other cases where it's an idol, or it's a person that's standing between you and the love of God. Okay, it's written, Jesus said, if anyone is not willing to give up on everything, basically deny himself and pick up his cross, he's not worthy of it. And so we cannot love anything above God, and we cannot love anything above our neighbor. Okay, those are the first two commandments. And so this is the case here, because he wasn't willing, the rich ruler wasn't willing to give up on his wealth. And that could be a hindrance for him to enter the kingdom of heaven. And so the second thing I want to talk about, for example, Zacchaeus, he wasn't even keeping the commandments. He was a sinner in the eyes of the people. But he decided to give half of his goods to the poor. This is something I'll discuss about a bit later, but second thing I want to point out is faith. Okay, it could be the case for some people, not everybody, that they were born in a Christian family, and they keep some commandments, and it's wrong to believe that by keeping those commandments your salvation is guaranteed, because without faith we cannot please God. It's written in the Bible. We cannot be like robots. Robots keep the commandments, but they don't actually have faith in God, right? And so we look at Zacchaeus, and we see that even though he didn't keep the commandments and he was a sinner, he had the faith to want to know who this person is, who Jesus is, and he climbed the tree just to see him. And Jesus mentioned many times in the Bible, your faith has healed you, your faith has saved you, and so on. And so, yes, we see the faith of Zacchaeus that was really important. And you see, Jesus does not look at the appearance of people. Jesus cares. We might make ourselves look good before people, but that doesn't work with Jesus. Jesus cares about our hearts. In the end, between these two people, I don't know, I'm not sure, but it can be that the rich ruler will never enter the kingdom of heaven, and Zacchaeus will. Okay, and this brings me to the third point that I want to talk about is don't judge other people. It says at chapter 19 with verse 7, but when they saw it, they all complained, saying, he was gone to be a guest with a man who's a sinner. He was judging Jesus, and he was judging Zacchaeus as well. And I'm pretty sure if Jesus were to stay at the rich ruler instead, they wouldn't have complained. You know, they wouldn't say anything because he kept the commandments. In their eyes, he was fit for Jesus to stay at his place. But Zacchaeus was not. And this just gets to show, even to these days, people judge too quickly. They just look at the appearance. Jesus cares about the heart, you know, and faith, which is very important. This man Zacchaeus, even though he didn't keep the commandments, I'm not saying that the rich ruler wasn't saved or he didn't have chances to be saved. Yes, he did have chances, but the faith that Zacchaeus, and this is another thing that I want to mention, the faith that it just gets to show between these two examples that faith is measured by the things which you are willing to give up. How much you are willing to deny yourself, you know. Jesus is pleased with that. That's the most important thing that he wants from us, you know. And this is how you prove your faith, by the things that you are willing to give up for the sake of Jesus Christ. And very important thing, not to judge others, because we don't know the history of other people, and we don't know the future and the plans that God might have with someone. And so this is what I wanted to talk today, and to point out a few things about and like I mentioned, it could be something else. For these specific people was riches, money, right? But it could be something else as well. It could be an idol, or it could be a person standing between you and God. And if you're not willing to give up on everything, then it's very difficult to enter the kingdom of heaven. So seek Jesus with faith. My Jesus bless you.